Now we're going to be solving part 3 of question 5A on the CSEC Math May 2011 paper. Now, if you notice here, they're asking us to find the area, and by definition, what we mean by area, it's an enclosed space. Okay, so if you notice, I'm shading here in yellow this space that is enclosed in triangle PQR. So all of this area that is shaded in yellow, okay, all of this enclosed space will be referred to as the area. Now let's get into it. Now we would have learned from previous lessons, and if you're not sure, you could visit our playlist on trigonometry and measurements, where we prove certain formulas, especially the sine formula that I'll be using to solve for the area here. Now the sine formula can be used having the fact that we have two sides that forms an angle. Note, and let me pull my pointer up, note we have the length P to Q, okay, and then we have the length Q to R. Now if you have two sides, the length of two sides, and those two sides forms an angle, and I'm just going to shade in the other part of this angle. If you notice, I'm shading in the angle at the top there that the two sides form, and that angle is in red. Now if you have all of that angle, then it's easy to find the area of the triangle, and I'm going to show you. And that formula states, so this is part 3 I'm working out. So area is equal to half of AB sine C. Okay, sine C. Now what is AB? AB would be the sides that are given, the two sides that forms the angle that we're speaking about. Okay, so for example, this would be A, that 12.6 meters, and the 8.4 meters would be B. Okay, and now we need to find this angle here, given the fact that we had calculated, and we can just scroll down. Earlier we had calculated theta, which is right here, this theta here, that angle, we had calculated it down here, and we said that theta was equal to 67.2 degrees. Okay, so what we're going to do, if we have this angle and we can find this one, then it's easy to just sum these two up to get the total angle here. So now let's move into it quickly. Now I can simply say then, if I'm focusing on triangle PQS, so since I have the two angles at the base here, I have the 15 degrees at P and the 90 degrees here at S, then I can then subtract that from 180 to get my angle at PQS. So let's calculate that angle. Angle PQS must be equal to 180 minus 15 plus 90. Okay, now this would be equal to 180 minus 105, so that would be equal to 75 degrees. Now this is a geometric concept, so we have to give our reason. Okay, and the reason is angles in a triangle are supplementary, so we can state angles in a triangle are supplementary. Okay, now remember, any geometric value you work out, you have to give a reason for that. Now having this angle, we have worked out this angle to be 75 degrees. So since we had worked this out to be 67.2, to get the angle here, to get the angle at PQR, angle PQR would be equal to, obviously we would add those two values. So I can now state then that therefore angle PQR must be equal to 67.2 plus 75. Okay, because we had worked out this angle earlier to be 60, this angle here, that angle was 67.2 degrees. Okay, now quickly, this is equal to, let me change the color. Now this is equal to, and that would give us, well, 142.2 2 degrees, okay, in total. So let's pull this up a bit. I think we're going to need a little bit more space. Now, having this angle here at the apex, this total angle here that I'm running my pointer along, which works out to be 142.5, we can now simply say then that this angle here, since we have the total angle, that's sine C, so I can go back to my original statement to say that the area of PQR, so area of triangle PQR must be equal to half, and we said that A was the same as 12.6 because A is one of the sides that forms the angle. So that's, let me just pull this over a bit. I think we're gonna need a little bit more space to work with. Okay, so quickly now I could simply say that 12.6 half times 12.6 multiplied by the 8.4, my 8.4 meters right there. Okay, so I have a 8.4, and I'm multiplying that by the sine. And let me pull this over a bit. I think we're going to need some more space. I think you should get the general concept so we can pull the question out of the way for a little bit. So I'm going to say I'm multiplying that now by the sine of 142.2. So that's 142.2. So basically this would be equal to a half times 12 times 12.6 times 8.4. That would give me a total of 52.92, and you can multiply that out on your calculator, and I'm timesing that by simply sine 142.2. Now basically you could plug in your calculator now sine 142.2 and multiply that by 52.92, and you would get 32.4, correct to 3 significant figures. And remember, area is in meters squared. Okay, so that would be my answer. Okay, so that's our answer for part 3. Feel free to post any comments that you may have or questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or you can even subscribe to the channel where you get our latest updates. Bye bye.